I'm not gonna take a lot of time because, you know, I'm getting emotional. And I told myself I wasn't gonna do this.
Over the 12 years that I've been here entertaining you on television. Welcome to Hot Topics, Sharina Hudson. Getting out of my car with my money. Good morning, Journey. She'll be almost, I think she'll be 3 next month, don't you know? Good morning, Kelvin. It's my truth.
You left your wife. Now, we may not care about her on the show. That's different. But you left your wife. Got you a side piece. Had a baby and was living a whole different life. And evidently, Wendy Williams was the real bread maker. Because now you can't live that lifestyle without that check.
The reports hitting the internet right now are nothing short of explosive. Social media is buzzing, blogs are lighting up, and insiders are whispering the same shocking thing. Sharina Hudson, the woman long associated with Kevin Hunter's infamous saga, is allegedly facing a financial meltdown so intense that even her closest friends are stunned into silence. People who once saw her flaunting a soft, curated lifestyle online are now claiming she's vanished from the spotlight, staying unusually quiet while rumors spread like wildfire. According to these circulating claims, the sudden shift began right after conversations resurfaced about Kevin's financial troubles, his past dependence on Wendy Williams' income, and the rapid collapse of the luxury routine he once portrayed. And now the whispers say Sharina may be dealing with the fallout in real time. What?
And I told myself I wasn't gonna do this.
It was not till death do us part.
And it wasn't just an incident. I mean, the relationship that Kevin had with this woman went on for...
No. Kevin was a serial cheater. Kevin had different mistresses depending on, you know, the part of his life. This last one was the one that he...
What has fans even more intrigued is how quickly this narrative flipped. One day she was presenting picture-perfect moments, and the next, people online began questioning why she suddenly pulled back, why certain posts disappeared, and why her energy looked completely different. The streets are loud, the speculation is louder, and everyone wants to know the same thing. Did the comfort really collapse the moment Kevin's money dried up? Whispers started in the most unexpected way, drifting through comment sections and late-night live-stream chats where people love to dissect celebrity stories. Nobody was claiming anything as fact, but the pattern of questions felt too pointed to ignore. Why did Sharina...
Did anybody ever explain to you why you're in a guardianship?
No, not exactly. But you know what? There are some things that I do know for myself. You know what I'm saying? And I understand because it's about my money. You know what I'm saying?
Can you talk to me about how Wendy ended up in a guardianship?
My understanding is somebody was in her bank account that Wells Fargo flagged, and there was large withdrawals being taken out.
My son, you know, he overstepped his boundaries in terms of me. You understand? He overstepped his boundaries, and he was inappropriately using my money without telling me crap about it. You know, like is he stealing from me? Look, all I know is that in terms of what I'm dealing with, and that this is still going on, because, you know, that's when my money got frozen. Wells Fargo, thank God. No more money stealing from my son and the other people.
Wells Fargo, your bank, said you were the victim of undue influence and...
Suddenly go quiet. Why did her soft life aesthetic vanish almost overnight? Why did she begin posting less, smiling less, and showing fewer glimpses of her day-to-day world? These were the kinds of questions flooding in, and people online began connecting dots in ways that only entertainment fans know how to do. They started tying her silence to those circulating updates about Kevin Hunter's financial troubles, the court filings that failed, and the stories suggesting that life for him had changed dramatically once Wendy stepped back from work. In the middle of all this, a few people who claimed to know someone, who knew someone, who had supposedly seen something, began sharing their own takes. They insisted they were only giving opinions, but their voices carried a tone that made listeners lean a little closer. One person said they hadn't seen Sharina at her usual spots in weeks. Another claimed she had been keeping her head down.
Death to all of them.
Last
Wendy Williams remembers is being betrayed by her husband. A lot of people do not know how dirty this guy did her and how much she really loved this man. We first met Kevin Hunter at a skating rink in 1994, and she immediately knew that this man was the love of her life. Basically has said that she was immediately infatuated with him and wanted him to be in her life forever. Got married 3 years later and started to try for a baby, although Wendy went through several miscarriages and no doctors were really sure if she would ever be able to carry a baby to term. She was pregnant with her son Kevin Jr., and yes, she did love her husband so much that she named her one and only child after him. She spent much of that pregnancy bedbound, and of course this is when Kevin started cheating on her with other women. Even after all this, Wendy did decide to forgive Kevin for his cheating. He was even quoted, "You know what, like, I love this man so much, I just pushed it down and forgave him because I wanted to keep our marriage, which was so strong, together." Basically, Wendy wanted anything but divorce. Her life was extremely intertwined with Kevin. Not only did he help her father her only child, but Kevin also helped her launch the talk show.
Staying mostly out of sight. Whether it was true or just internet talk, it was enough to spark curiosity across thousands of viewers who follow this saga like a never-ending soap opera. Fans on social media started stitching together old moments from both Kevin and Sharina's past, replaying videos and interviews where tension seemed to simmer under the surface. Someone brought up an old clip where Wendy spoke about her divorce, her heartbreak, and the choices that led to everything spiraling. Others brought up the interviews where she opened up about betrayal, about the long years of quiet pain, and about how her marriage had been stretched far beyond what most people would tolerate. It was only natural that the internet began revisiting all of that now that new rumors were rising about Kevin's finances and Sharina's sudden disappearance from the spot. Analyzed celebrity behavior for fun started pointing out small details they believed were signs. They said Sharina was posting motivational quotes instead of lifestyle photos, sharing moments about hard work instead of luxury, and showing herself in settings that looked more grounded than glamorous. One blogger said it almost felt like she was rebuilding, trying to steady herself while the world speculated. Again, nothing confirmed, nothing stated as fact, but the observations were spreading fast. What pushed the drama even further was a circulating claim that Sharina...
But what I needed at the time, because I was running 100 miles an hour, and I was so much of a strong support structure for her and all the dreams that she wanted to accomplish, I needed somebody for me. And my new offspring, my daughter, who is a beautiful, beautiful spirit, she was not a oops baby. She was not a mistake baby.
This backwoods Barbie, you know, he was tricking up money. She's in the passenger seat of my Rolls Royce Ferrari, and you know, I mean...
might have shifted her focus to new work opportunities. Some commenters said she seemed to be leaning more into her real estate license, while others said she was promoting her wellness products far more actively. None of these were negative things, but in the eyes of the internet, any sudden change becomes a storyline. Especially when it comes from someone connected to a long and complicated public narrative involving Wendy Williams, Kevin Hunter, alimony, guardianship questions, legal filings, and accusations that fans have discussed for years. The emotional weight of this entire situation had people revisiting Wendy's own journey. Many viewers were remembering the days when Wendy would talk openly about her life on camera, crying in front of the audience as she processed everything she had endured. Clips resurfaced where she spoke about being betrayed, about fighting through heartbreak, and about trying to keep her family together even when she felt cracks forming beneath her. Fans who always sided with her felt a mix of sadness and vindication as they watched these moments again, especially now that new commentary online suggested Kevin's financial situation might be very different from what it once was. Interview 440, 536. In the middle of that, online discussions started focusing on the timing of everything. When Wendy stepped back from her show, when her guardianship began, when her finances froze, and when Kevin reportedly started filing lawsuit after lawsuit. People were saying the timeline told a story on its own. They pointed out that Kevin's lifestyle seemed directly tied to the income that had supported everything for so long. When that income stopped, the questions began. And when Sharina's online presence shifted, people began linking the two narratives even more strongly, even though no one had provided concrete confirmation. From there, the discussions evolved into full-blown analysis. Entertainment commentators on YouTube began recording videos where they examined old photos, dissected body language, and read between the lines of long-forgotten interviews. They kept reminding viewers that they were only discussing public talk and trending speculation, but the way they retold the story made each detail feel dramatic. Some of them even suggested Sharina might be going through emotional strain behind the scenes, adjusting to a new pace of life that she never anticipated. Others wondered whether she felt blindsided by how fast things shifted, especially with Kevin reportedly facing various challenges that had been discussed in public.
It was her own son. Her own fucking son got her in the situation. Like father, like son. He did the same thing his dad was doing, which makes me even more sad for Wendy. Like, the people that were supposed to protect her the most failed her. Her chosen family failed her. And you guys remember all the clips that came out about Wendy Williams, like in the wheelchair and all that stuff recently when her son graduated, the party that they had and everything like that. That footage was taken from the son's friends. So now it's making sense. The son is taking advantage in any way possible to profit off of his mother's legacy. And it won't be stopped unless he is protected, or Wendy is protected from him. How that's gonna happen with her being in Miami and the family still being in contact with the son, I do not know. But he's shady as fuck. We been screaming free Wendy Williams, but it was her own son that got her the conservativeship. And you guys gotta watch that documentary because it goes to the depths of the length.
Public filings and news reports. What made things even more intense was how divided the reactions were. Some people felt sympathy for Sharina, saying she was caught in the middle of a storm she never truly understood. Others argued she knew exactly what she was stepping into when she became involved with Kevin during his marriage. A few said that no matter how someone enters a relationship, nobody deserves to suddenly struggle or feel unsupported. Meanwhile, some Wendy supporters felt this was poetic justice, describing it as a full circle moment where life was showing its own kind of balance. Interview 657, 733. The emotional reactions fueled more discussions, and soon fans started creating their own theories about what might have happened behind closed doors. Some imagined heated conversations between Kevin and Sharina, with both sides struggling to agree on their next steps. Others pictured quiet nights where Sharina sat alone, trying to figure out how much of her life had been built on a foundation that wasn't designed to last. These were just dramatic recreations created by viewers, but they carried the kind of emotional weight that keeps audiences glued to a storyline. There were also comments that suggested Sharina might be purposely staying low to protect her daughter.
The PI was taking pictures of them going to the gym, going to dinner, her with
daughter from unnecessary attention. People speculated she was prioritizing privacy, especially with Kevin's name back in circulation due to legal filings and public debates. Again, none of this was confirmed, but the idea made sense to many who believed she was trying to shield her child from the noise. The internet can be loud, unpredictable, and sometimes unforgiving, so the possibility that she chose silence for safety resonated deeply with viewers. As these theories swirled, some insiders claimed they had heard Sharina was focusing heavily on regaining her financial grounding. They said she was putting in long hours, taking on more work, and restructuring the parts of her life that had once depended on Kevin's support. None of this had official documentation behind it, but the emotional picture it painted made people follow the storyline with even more interest. Fans described it as a quiet reinvention, a behind-the-scenes transformation that matched the dramatic arc of reality TV. By this point, the situation had become a full entertainment saga. Every small update, every rumor, every disappearance or sudden post felt like a clue. People were left wondering what was happening in real time, who was struggling, who was adjusting, and how all of them were dealing with a history that had already been filled with heartbreak, scandal, and public battles. The sense of tension continued growing, the atmosphere thick with questions that nobody had answered yet. Interview 10:05, 10:59. The sense of tension continued growing, the atmosphere thick with questions that nobody had answered yet. People who followed the story began describing it as a turning point, the moment where everything that once felt controlled suddenly felt unstable. The most active rumor going around claimed that Sharina had begun distancing herself from anything that connected her too closely to Kevin's financial struggles. People online said they noticed a shift not only in her posts but also in her entire attitude, as if she was quietly separating her path from his. Again, it was all speculation, but the timing of it made viewers raise eyebrows. Some commenters pointed out that Sharina's tone on
men work with your husband, because I made him my manager, and then when I decided to divorce him, he had to be fired. In other words, I made him divorced and unemployed all in one day, having this side girl for almost 15 years of our marriage. I've known about her almost since the beginning. I've known that Kevin is a serial cheat. The first time I found out was while I was pregnant with our son on bed rest. During that time, I gave birth to him. He was in the delivery room. You'll see that play out in the movie. He's passing out cigars, and you know, my wife and I, you know, and little Kevin, who's not so little anymore, he's 20 years old. I plotted to divorce Kevin, and I sacrificed a lot of myself to come out successful on the
line. Seemed more reflective, more serious, almost as if she had stepped into a different stage of life. One person wrote that it looked like she had gone from soft life to survival mode, and that phrasing spread like wildfire. It became the line people quoted whenever the topic came up in live streams or threads. They said she didn't look defeated, just more focused, like someone trying to rebuild something she once thought would stay steady forever. This observation made the emotional side of the story even heavier because it painted her not as a villain or a victim, but as a person trying to navigate the consequences of choices that everyone had watched unfold in real time. Meanwhile, discussions about Kevin began taking on a tone that felt almost cinematic. People started retelling the old stories, the ones involving luxury purchases, cars, jewelry, and a lifestyle that many believed had been built on Wendy's success. Fans repeatedly mentioned that moment when Kevin allegedly admitted in filings that he couldn't keep up with his bills anymore. They would quote him saying he was behind, drowning in expenses, struggling with credit cards, and unable to maintain the home he once shared with Sharina. Nobody claimed to know what was happening now, but the old statements kept being brought up as a reference point for the new rumors. Interview 1215, 1256. In the middle of this online noise, a circulating claim suggested that Sharina and Kevin might be living separately. No documents, no official statements, just whispers that became louder every week. One anonymous poster said they heard Sharina had moved closer to family to stay grounded while she figured out what came next. Others insisted they saw signs that she wasn't staying in the same place she once shared with Kevin. These weren't facts, but the mere possibility fueled endless speculation about emotional distance, disagreements, and late-night arguments that fans imagined based on the long history between the three individuals. This is where the storyline took an even more dramatic turn. Viewers began theorizing about what might have triggered the alleged separation. Some claimed Kevin's stress could have led to clashes behind closed doors. Others imagined Sharina realizing the lifestyle she had stepped into wasn't the reality she expected once the financial support shifted. The way people described it sounded like a scene straight out of a reality show. Raised voices, disappointed expressions, difficult conversations about money, priorities, and the direction of their lives. The emotional core of these theories sat in the idea that everyone involved was dealing with the aftermath of choices made during a time when everything looked glamorous and easy. People pointed out that when Kevin left his marriage, he stepped into a new life that seemed effortless on the outside. Sharina was part of that new chapter, and many believed she embraced it wholeheartedly. But as the internet reminded everyone again and again, a lifestyle built on uncertain ground can shift without warning. Some fans imagined Sharina sitting alone at night, scrolling through messages from people who once congratulated her but now posted comments suggesting she had been part of something that wasn't built to last. They pictured her deleting old photos, archiving moments that no longer reflected her present, and reevaluating how she wanted to be seen. The idea of her rebranding suddenly made sense to viewers, who said it looked like she was rewriting her entire narrative. As for Kevin, entertainment commentators speculated that he might be trying to keep up appearances even while struggling behind the scenes. They said he had always moved like someone determined to appear in control, even when the situation around him was chaotic. Some imagined him pacing in a quiet room, stressed over bills and deadlines, frustrated that the life he once enjoyed had become so hard to maintain. Others pictured him clashing with Sharina over decisions they both felt desperate to solve. None of this was verified, but it fit the emotional framework that fans had crafted for years. Interview 1433, 1534. What deepened the drama was how divided the public remained about the entire situation. Some felt sympathy for Sharina, saying she must be overwhelmed by the sudden shift in her world. They argued she had a child to think about and that stress from financial changes could weigh heavily on any parent. Others felt no sympathy at all, saying she knowingly stepped into a complicated relationship and should have expected instability. These conflicting perspectives made the storyline even more intense, with each new rumor pushing people further into their chosen sides. In a few discussion groups, fans began speculating about how Wendy might feel watching all this from a distance. They imagined her hearing the rumors, knowing people online were discussing Kevin's struggles, and processing all the years she spent trying to keep her family together. Many believed she wouldn't celebrate anyone's hardships, but they also thought she might recognize the poetic symmetry in the situation. After all, she had spent years being the one blindsided, the one hurt, the one facing difficult truths. Now the narrative seemed reversed. Viewers also began pointing out an emotional thread that had been overlooked by many: the possibility that Sharina was dealing with more than financial stress. A few commenters suggested she might be processing regret, confusion, or even guilt over the way everything unfolded. They imagined her replaying old moments, wondering whether she made decisions too quickly or trusted promises that weren't rooted in stability. These were emotional speculations, but they resonated with people who understood how relationships can unravel under pressure. Some also speculated about Kevin's mindset in all of this. They imagined him feeling betrayed by the world for not siding with him, frustrated that people kept revisiting his past mistakes, and angry that the narrative seemed to be slipping out of his control. Fans said he always carried himself with confidence, and now he might be struggling with a reality he never prepared for. They pictured scenes of him trying to negotiate with lenders, making calls he didn't want to make, or sitting silently with the weight of his choices pressing on him. As the story continued spreading, more people began expressing shock at how quickly the narrative had turned upside down. It felt like watching a storyline that had been building for years finally flip in a single moment. All the past interviews, photos, leaks, and public statements seemed to connect in new ways. Fans said they felt like the curtain had been pulled back, revealing layers of tension they always sensed but never fully understood. In the end, what kept everyone glued to the story wasn't the drama itself, but the emotional undercurrent running through every rumor. The idea that lives once intertwined through secrecy, betrayal, and public spectacle were now unraveling in the shadows of financial strain and uncertainty. The idea that Sharina might be quietly rebuilding. The idea that Kevin might be confronting consequences he never expected. The idea that Wendy, after everything she endured, might finally be stepping into a moment where life felt more balanced, more honest, and more peaceful. And just as conversations reached a peak, new murmurs began circulating, hinting at developments that were even more surprising than the ones people had been discussing so far. And just as conversations reached a peak, new murmurs began circulating, hinting at developments that were even more surprising than the ones people had been discussing so far. People in online spaces started claiming they had heard from someone close to the situation, someone who supposedly witnessed a shift in the energy between Kevin and Sharina long before the internet noticed anything. These claims weren't presented as fact, but the way they were told made listeners stop and lean in, because they sounded like the kind of emotional scenes that leave people stunned. According to one circulating story, things inside the home had grown tense long before the public caught on. People speculated that Sharina may have confronted Kevin about the pressure they were facing, asking questions about bills, responsibilities, and long-term plans. Some imagined her sitting across from him at a kitchen table late at night, her voice low but tired, trying to understand how everything had shifted so quickly. Others imagined Kevin responding with frustration, insisting he was doing everything he could, arguing that the lawsuits he filed were part of a bigger strategy to stabilize their situation. The idea of these conversations happening behind closed doors added a layer of emotional weight to the rumors. One commenter said it looked like Sharina had reached a breaking point, not because she didn't care, but because the reality of their new circumstances may have been overwhelming. Fans said they noticed a heaviness in her recent posts, a subtle sadness in her eyes that wasn't present before. Even though these were just interpretations of photos, people felt there was something different in her expression, like she was carrying a lot more than she wanted the world to see. Another rumor claimed that someone close to Kevin believed he felt cornered by the mounting financial pressure. People began imagining scenes where he tried to explain himself, pacing the room while talking about the stress, the expectations, and the weight of everything he was trying to juggle at once. Some speculated he might have expressed anger at how fast people turned on him, saying he felt misunderstood and blamed for situations he believed weren't entirely in his control. Again, none of this was proven, but the theories painted a picture that viewers found believable based on the long history surrounding him. As these imagined scenes spread, fans began discussing the emotional toll of public judgment. Many said Sharina must be feeling the pressure of eyes watching her every move, especially with people bringing up her past and questioning whether she regretted the choices she made. Some believed she might feel isolated, unsure of who to trust or where to turn, especially if the rumors about her moving away from Kevin were true. They pictured her scrolling through comments late at night, watching strangers debate her life, her motives, and her future. The thought of that alone made the story feel heavier. The most dramatic speculation centered on a whisper that Sharina had supposedly stopped attending certain event to a different kind of anticipation. People felt like something big was approaching, something that hadn't been revealed yet. Maybe a public appearance. Maybe a new post. Maybe a subtle sign that confirmed or denied the rumors swirling around for weeks. Nobody knew what it would be, but the internet stayed ready, waiting for the next detail that would push the story into its next dramatic phase. Nobody knew what it would be, but the internet stayed ready, waiting for the next detail that would push the story into its next dramatic phase. People were glued to every whisper, every hint, every vague post that Sharina or Kevin might drop. Even a single emoji could lead to hours of speculation, and fans didn't hesitate to create their own narratives around the smallest clues. One evening, a rumor surfaced that someone had spotted Sharina at a quiet cafe, looking focused and deep in thought. The witness didn't claim anything dramatic happened, only that she seemed different, more grounded than before. This simple observation, shared anonymously, set off a wave of conversations imagining what might have been going through her mind. Some pictured her planning her next steps, thinking about her daughter, or reflecting on the whirlwind of her past few years. The idea that she was reclaiming her peace resonated deeply with people who had been following her journey from afar. Another rumor suggested that Kevin had been keeping to himself, not appearing in the places he used to frequent. People online said the shifts in his presence were hard to ignore. Some imagined him sitting alone in a dimly lit room, going through paperwork, making calls, and trying to figure out how to move forward. They speculated that he might be struggling to find footing in a life that no longer followed the same patterns it once did. Viewers said it felt like he was facing a mirror for the first time, forced to confront the reality of choices made years ago. As these narratives grew, fans began discussing the emotional ripple effects on everyone involved. Some fans believed Sharina must be wrestling with mixed feelings, disappointment, frustration, and a need to protect her child from instability. They imagined her having quiet moments where she questioned how she got here, wondering if she ignored signs she should have paid attention to much earlier. They pictured her wanting to build a stronger future, one not dependent on anyone else's income, mood swings, or decisions. Meanwhile, speculation around Kevin's emotions grew even more layered. Some observers wondered if he felt resentment toward the world for turning him into a headline again. They pictured him sifting through articles, cringing at harsh comments, frustrated at feeling misunderstood. Others believed he might be silently carrying regret, replaying the past and wondering how differently things might have turned out if he had handled certain moments with more care. Again, these were only imaginings, but they captured the emotional depth fans believed was unfolding beneath the surface. The conversation took a dramatic turn when an entertainment blogger claimed they heard from someone who believed Sharina and Kevin were not on the same page about their next steps. This claim spread rapidly, with people imagining scenes where the two were having difficult conversations, both knowing things were shifting but unsure how to address it. Some imagined Sharina expressing how tired she felt of constantly adjusting to chaos, while others pictured Kevin trying to reassure her that everything would get better. These imagined dialogues added fuel to the already burning narrative. In one imagined scene, fans pictured them sitting in a living room, the silence heavy, the tension visible. Sharina might be staring out the window, her thoughts racing, while Kevin sat across from her, rubbing his forehead, trying to find the right words. Maybe she told him she needed stability, and maybe he told her he was doing his best. These visualizations weren't based on confirmed events, but they resonated deeply with viewers who followed the story like a season finale of their favorite show. All of this speculation created a wave of emotional reactions. Some people said they felt sympathy for Sharina, describing her as someone who had been swept into a narrative bigger than she realized. Others were more critical, saying she had stepped into the situation knowingly and was now facing the natural consequences of choices made in a moment of desire or excitement. Both sides debated endlessly, creating a digital tug-of-war around her character. The theories around Wendy also evolved. Many fans wondered if she even cared about the rumors, or if she was too busy focusing on her own healing, her own peace, and her own new beginning. Some believed that if she had heard the whispers, she might feel a surprising mix of sadness and closure, not because she wanted anyone to struggle, but because life had finally begun revealing truths in ways she once begged the world to see. People imagined her sitting somewhere calmly, sipping tea, simply watching the world move without trying to control it anymore. The most unexpected turn came when some commentators speculated that Sharina might emerge stronger than ever from all this. They believed she might rebuild her identity in a completely new direction, one built on independence, purpose, and authenticity. They pictured her working on new ventures, surrounding herself with supportive people, and choosing paths that allowed her to grow without chaos looming in the background. This theory quickly became popular because it offered hope instead of just dramatized downfall. Still, not all speculation was positive. Some imagined darker moments behind the scenes, silent arguments, long nights, emotional exhaustion, and discussions filled with tension and strained voices. They pictured both Sharina and Kevin navigating the fear of change, unsure of what the future held. People said the emotional weight of losing a certain lifestyle, a sense of security, or a long-term plan could break even the strongest of personalities. These interpretations reminded viewers that real life, even in its most dramatic form, is often complicated, messy, and filled with decisions nobody feels fully prepared to make. Through all the back-and-forth theories, a powerful theme began to emerge among fans: the idea that sometimes life catches up in ways nobody expects. Choices made in one chapter can echo loudly in the next. People said it felt like watching karma in slow motion, not in a vengeful way, but in a way that forces everyone involved to face truths they once avoided. Some described it as life balancing itself. Others said it looked like consequences finally aligning with actions. And some simply felt that this was a moment of quiet reckoning for everyone connected to the story. What made the entire situation so gripping was that nothing had been confirmed, yet the emotional tension felt real. It wasn't just about money, rumors, or old headlines. It was about 3 lives connected through years of heartbreak, choices, secrets, and unexpected twists. It was about a woman trying to rebuild, a man trying to hold on, and another woman trying to reclaim her peace after years of public pain. These deeper layers made the narrative stick in people's minds far more than any surface-level gossip ever could. And as the weeks went by, the conversations only became more intense. Fans watched every move, every silence, every subtle shift. They said they could feel something coming, something that would carry this story into yet another emotional chapter. Whether it would be a post, a statement, or a quiet moment caught by someone's camera, they didn't know. All they knew was, as everything continued unfolding in whispers and fragments, one thing became clear to the people watching from the outside. This entire situation felt like a moment where every hidden emotion, every buried decision, and every unresolved issue finally rose to the surface. Nothing about these circulating stories felt simple, and nothing about the reactions online felt neutral. People were invested, shocked, conflicted, and curious all at once. It was the kind of slow-burn drama that keeps the internet awake at night, refreshing pages to see if anyone has posted a new clue or shared a new angle. Some viewers said the situation felt like the universe revealing truths that had been tucked away for years. Others believed it was just life reminding everyone that nothing stays the same forever, especially when the foundation isn't steady. Whatever the interpretation, the emotional weight of these rumors created a kind of silence, the calm before whatever comes next. People described it as watching a storm move across the horizon, knowing that the next shift could change everything again. And that's what makes this story so gripping. Every person involved carries their own history, their own wounds, their own lessons. The only thing left now is to see what direction they choose from here. Will Sharina rebuild her life with a new purpose? Will Kevin find a way to stabilize his world again? Will Wendy continue finding peace and distance from all the chaos that once consumed her? The questions are heavy, and the answers aren't here yet. But you can be part of the conversation. If you've been following this saga, drop your thoughts below. What do you think is really going on behind these rumors? Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next update as this emotional story continues to unfold.